With GPT-2, we can create awesome storyboards that then we can take to video using Omni, Seedance, or Kling. In this video, I will show you how to do it from a cinematic perspective, but I will upload new videos to show you how to do the same for commercials and other styles. I'll be using Magnific, but this works on any platform that supports GPT-2 like Xfield, Polo, and so on. Now, to get started, you need characters. I have a grid right here of a character called Super Mike. If you don't know how to create character sheets, I've created a video about that already. Check the cards or the links at the description. Nonetheless, if you want the prompts I will be using on this video and the prompt I used to create that character grid, go to the comments of this video and you will find a document with everything I will use right here on this video. Once you have the character, the next step is creating a storyboard. And for this, I'm going to give you a template that you can reuse on your own account. Now, the prompt is quite long, but super detailed. We define the format, but most importantly, the amount of panels that we want on the grid. Then we define the characters that we will use. We describe the scene and the context. Then we go on and we describe what's going to happen on each of the panels with the shot and the scene description. Then we continue with the shot variety. Right here is where we define all the different shot types. And to finish, we need to provide more context with the lighting, the color grading, the continuity, and finish with the style. So as you can see, we are providing a lot of context, and this will really help. I'm going to use 6 grids, but you can use as many as you want. For my grid, what I want is for the superhero to fly into the atmosphere, and then he has an encounter with the spaceship, which means the bad guys. So after you define the format and the grid and the character, you need to make sure that you describe the scene. Now then we go on and describe what happens on each panel. You need to pay close attention to the shot type and what happens on each panel. If you mess up right here with continuity, the grid will look a little bit disconnected. Now with the shot variety and the lighting, I'm providing more details about the shots I want and the tone I want. And the continuity, it's highly important. As you create more variations of this grid, some panels will appear a little bit disconnected. So here on this part of the prompt, on each iteration, you add more instructions, letting GPT-2 know what you want to see and what you don't want to see. And to finish, we describe the style. So that's it. Once I run it, I get this back. Is this perfect? Well, not really. It might take a few attempts to get this right. Nonetheless, most often not, when you get the grid back, some panels will be perfect and some panels will be a little bit off. So instead of running the same prompt again, we can run a different prompt and let GPT-2 know that you want to keep some of the grids and just replace maybe the number 5 or just the number 6. Now, the thing is that we cannot really use the same template. It doesn't work. And believe me, I've tried. It will give you back the unchanged same version of the storyboard like 8 out of 10 times. So I've made a new template for this. Right, so we start off by saying this is an edit, not a new generation. Then we instruct GPT to leave X number of panels untouched. And we provide instructions to vary the panels that we want. Then we ask for consistency between the edited and the unedited panels. And to finish, we provide the same style, of course. Once we run that prompt with the previous grid as a reference, this is what I get back. And I'm going to put the previous grid on the screen right here so we can compare that the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are completely the same and the number 5 and 6 are just variations. So again, that template will work to do this task. The first template is to create a grid. Right, so once you have the grid, we just need a script that uses the storyboard and describe each of the panels. Like before, I'm going to give you a template. And yes, you can copy from the screen, take a screenshot, or you can go to the comments and get the document. Now, as before, I'm going to use that template with my grid. And yes, it is a pretty long prompt. Nonetheless, it's pretty similar to the grid template that we used a minute ago. We defined the input number 1, which is the attachment or the reference or to the storyboard. Then the input number 2 is the grid. And then we keep on with the instructions. And this is information about what the job is and one very specific rule, which is the transition rule. And the rule is highly simple. Create hard cuts. If we don't let the model know that we want cuts, it will take each grid, each panel, and it will create a transition, which will lead into this grid to grid change as a morphing from A to B rather than maybe a cut from A to B, and it will look pretty unrealistic. Just to show you how it looks with no hard cuts, right here on the screen, I'm going to put an example of Google Flow Omni Flash with no instructions for hard cuts. So that's the transition or the morphing from A to B that maybe we don't want to see. Now, this really depends on the model. Seedance is way better at understanding this instruction. Kling, it's good, and Omni, it's a little bit less good than Kling. If you keep going on with the prompt, after we are super clear about the hard cuts, we define each shot. Again, you need to take a minute and just pretty much describe what's going on each panel. And to finish, we go with the camera instructions, audio, lighting, and style. And right here, you can copy paste from the storyboard template. Once we get it back, this is what I get with Seedance 2.0 Mini. And yeah, it's pretty good. Now, you will see the fail at the end. This is not a one-trick pony. You might need to run it multiple times until you get what you want. After I run it on Seedance again, we will be getting something similar, not the same, just similar. And it looks pretty good. And at some point, it will fail. After I run it a third time on Seedance 2.0 Mini, it's not the same, it's different, but it's similar. And again, it fails at the end. Maybe you're wondering why not running it on 2.5 because it's just better than 2.0. Well, let's see what happens. This is the 2.5 version. And as you can see, the first part, it was a little bit worse than 2.0. Can you see the pattern right here? It usually gets it wrong on the last grid or maybe the second grid. And this is just normal. That's why creating hard cuts will let you create multiple videos, multiple Seedance videos in this case, and then chop the different parts and create one single timeline. Now, what if I try Kling Omni? I'm right here on 3.0 Omni. Way worse than Seedance. I mean, not that bad, but way worse. And then after running it again on Kling, this is what I get back. A little bit weird. But again, some parts are fine. And the hard cuts really help because we can chop this video and create something that makes a bit more sense. So of all the generations, Seedance was the most consistent and cinematic, and that is just not surprising. But while the generation is consistent and cinematic, it might get it wrong sometimes. So my recommendation for you is to keep it tight. If your storyboard does too much, it will struggle. On this one, I am using a 6-grid panel and I'm trying to fit a lot on a 10 seconds video. Instead, I should create a 4-panel storyboard with a tighter grid to grid storyboard and then run that instead. Then when that generation is fine, then we continue to the next 4 grids. The bad thing about this approach is that it's a little bit more expensive. But if you try to do too much like we are doing right here, you will be getting a lot of bad generations, which means that you will spend more money creating videos. I know it is expensive and we all want to get the most out of one single generation. But if you do too much, it's like rolling a dice sometimes. But to finish with this video, the good thing about working with hard cuts is that you can run multiple times and then just create a different timeline with all the different parts. All right, so if you liked this video and you find it useful, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Don't be a stranger.